day begins like all others, and everybody knows its place in this mechanism of stone. Water needs to run. Fire needs to live. Animals await steady hands. Within the walls, routine is the visible shape of survival. Even so, between mud and smoke, there is a dignity that does not announce itself. It simply works. It is in this silence that the castle finds its strength. Each learned gesture protects the group from the unforeseen and from punishment. The same water that cleans the courtyard boils the broth and quenches what threatens. Tardiness is measured in glances. Error is etched into the memory of the stones. Here, discipline is another form of bread. Whoever guards the bread guards life. When the rod cuts the air, the silence weighs more than lead. A spilled bucket becomes an example, and haste trades places with contained fear. The body straightens, the hands speed up, the gaze lowers. Discipline is not a word. It is a gesture, an order, a signal, a short strike. And under that shadow, even error learns to be invisible. The standard arrives before the voice and already changes the cadence of the courtyard. There is hurry in the leather, mud on the cloth, and demands in the knight's eyes. Supplies are not numbers. They are arms, time, and choices. The kitchen accelerates, the granary counts, the forge tightens hoops and buckles. The castle breathes shorter, like one running uphill. When the request grows, the courtyard turns into a waterless current. Arms that pass, shoulders that receive, steps that do not cross. Time weighs like one more burden, and each mistake promises to delay many. No one speaks, but all read the same signs. Raised hands, fingers counting, the gesture to advance. And the castle, for an instant, seems like a living machine. The knight measures every detail like one weighing a rare coin. The wind thickens and slips between the stones, reminding that the weather changes without asking permission. The kitchen, the granary, and the forge respond like fingers of the same body. And, for now, haste defeats improvisation. The wind changes the shape of the day before the water arrives. Fabrics tremble at their seams, embers breathe short, and eyes search the horizon by foreboding, not by news. The castle adjusts like one pulling a cloak before the cold. Ropes are tied, gaps are sealed, sacks are lifted from the ground. No panic, only the calm haste of those who know the sky. If it comes, whatever comes, it will find everything in its place. When the water finally falls, the courtyard becomes liquid labor. What was not tide seeks the ground. What was on the ground seeks height. The rain erases intentions and demands quick solutions. Planks become bridges. Cloths become gutters. Hands become walls. There is no time for elegance, only for what works. The wind tears at the edges, but the center holds. Save the grain, keep the fire, steady the animals. And every body learns to speak the language of water. Living fire is the heart of the castle. Without it, the broth cools, the people tire, order weakens. Water tries to enter through every crack, and each crack becomes a task. What is lit must be protected. What is protected nourishes. There is no glory, only precision. That is how one crosses the rain. When the wood complains, everyone learns to listen. A tired beam can take with it the grain, the hay, and the whole night's labor. Braces are born from trunks. Ropes become temporary bones, and haste must have method. It is not brute force, it is urgent geometry, and for moments, the granary breathes again. Water always chooses the easiest path. It is up to men to invent the difficult that corrects it. Steps become river, baseboards become banks, and common planks learn to be channeled. The castle remains only because it changes shape in bad weather. Between thunder and clipboard, a simple method is born. Lead the water away from the bread. When the wind meets the walls, the castle speaks another tongue. Ropes sing, tarps breathe, doors respond. It is the moment to hold what might fly and tie what might yield. The gate breathes through chains, wheels, and pins. When one piece goes off key, the whole castle hears. Time grows short, and the iron long. It is precision upon wet stone. And safety, here, is a line of metal with a fixed destination. The courtyard learns to grow quiet so the animals can understand the way. Calloused hands become shells, crates become shelter, cloths become roof. There is no heroism, only care. Lift off the ground, keep dry, feed afterward. Weight does not forgive slick stone. Different arms become the same wall, and the blow that was a fall turns into a push in the right direction. Effort leaves marks, not on pride, but on wood. The work goes on, now with a dent that tells the story of what almost was. And the castle learns one more way to stand. Each step is measured by the knot the hand can reach. Each load by the beam that still holds. Eyes blink the rain, but do not close the work. The fire breathes short. The grain sleeps high, and the wood sings under the weight of the wind. In the heart of the storm, the castle is a single body. When water becomes street, the body learns the map by touch. The guide rope stitches the courtyard, and the human chain carries what cannot fall. The wooden and straw shelter holds what must be kept dry, and the rest is entrusted to rhythm. Fear stays at the edge of the eyes, but method holds the center. Above the courtyard, where the wind splits the rain into blades, a gaze measures the castle without words. It asks nothing, promises nothing. It merely observes what is sustained by small efforts. Down below, each gesture is an invisible brick. The Lord knows the weight of iron and of silence, and knows that order is born of what no one applauds. When everything will not fit in the same shelter, the castle chooses what feeds first. Grain becomes the priority, and the hay takes the high mezzanine. The decision does not leave the Lord's mouth, but from the foreman's gesture and the knight's assent. The rain tires before we do. The heavy noise turns to spaced drops, and the courtyard regains its shape beneath the puddles. What remained standing proves the method. What almost fell teaches how to tie tomorrow. The air is still cold, but haste lets go of the hands and the castle's breath returns. What stayed in the joints is drained, what the cold still demands is dried, what the wind loosened is tightened. The method returns to the hands like an old tool. Align, level, shore up. Food must be kept safe, the ground reliable, and the iron in place. The rest is patience. Remove the excess, restore the shape, prepare for tomorrow. The day loosens the clouds like one untying a knot in the chest. Light returns along the edges of the stones and reveals what remained. The fire eases its breath and keeps warmth for supper. Upon the walls, eyes learn the shadows, and routine shifts gear. The castle, damp and whole, prepares to keep vigil. Night gathers the excess of noise and leaves only the necessary. The courtyard shrinks in the amber light of the lanterns, and each step finds the right stone. There are eyes that measure the dark and hands that count the day by small gestures. Arrange, watch, warm. When night settles, the work changes its voice. What was saved finds its place. What was lost becomes a mark in the wood and a lesson in the hands. The lanterns join the courtyard like small islands of breath. The cold cleans the air, and for an instant, each breath says, "It was enough." Tomorrow, the same stone, the same bread, the same step, and the castle remains.